What's good, guys? Welcome back to the full card predictions for UFC 313. Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev. But you guys already know we can't talk about next week without talking about this week. So I figured, guys, let's talk about what happened at UFC Fight Night. Uselyis versus Kape. Unfortunately, lock of the week does not come in clutch, and the lock of the week streak ends. So we're gonna have to start all the way from the bottom again. Lock of the week streak has to continue, and I got a good lock of the week, so stay tuned for Wednesday. Honestly, with that fight, obviously, the thing I care about most is whether lock of the week hits or not, whether it hits or not. So I don't care how I do on the card, I just care about whether the lock of the week hits. I should have done JJ Aldridge as lock of the week. I was wondering if I should do JJ Aldridge or Rizvan. I knew what I was dealing with Rizvan. I had to deal with Nasrat being the more technical striker, and I think he lost that fight. He lost the second round, clearly. You got to turn it up in the second round. I don't know what you're doing. And he's not going to the body. The body's open. It's open. It's open all day on Nasrat, and he's not going to the body. He's throwing volume on top of volume on top of volume. His mouth is bloody. He loses the first round, and arguably he lost the second round. He comes in the third round very heavy, but I need that output in the second round as well. I got to do a little bit more better with my lock of the week, guys. So, lock of the week streak will continue this Wednesday. So, let's go. Overall, we went 7-3. So 70% prediction rate. Barlow, Gomis, and Rizvan are all the three that I got wrong. Shout out to the people who went 8-2, the people who went 9-1, the people who went clean sweep. Let's go. Let's look for a clean sweep this card. Let's go. Overall, it was a pretty good card. I don't like how Manel Kape is swiping at the eye a little bit. Feel bad for Uselyis. He should have a little bit of a fair matchup with that. And these referees are not, they're not jumping on the fact that there's a lot of eye pokes or doing anything about it. I just don't want no more eye pokes. But overall, very good night. Let's look at how the bets went. Let's look at it. Let's go. Obviously, we know that this is going to be an absolute crazy card that we're going to break down. So, thank you guys for being here. Lock of the week streak continues Wednesday. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Esteban Rizvan money line. I said, let me do it. Live bet, third round. I don't know what I'm doing. He gets taken down. Got him at a -112. Thought that there was a little bit of a chance for him to win. But unfortunately, all three judges gave Nasrat the second round. So fair and square. That's how it goes. 3-leg parlay, $15. Esteban Rizvan by KO on points. Under 1.5. Cody Brunnish fight. Manel Kape by KO on points. $15 down the drain. So that's done. Then Cody Brunnish money line, $50. Right before the fight with Julian Marquez, he started to grow as a bigger favorite. It was a -120 to like +100. So I was like, you know what? Give me Cody Brundage. Let's go. Should have put a little bit more on that. Let's go, Cody Brundage. You saved my day, my guy. You saved my day, Cody Brundage. You actually came in clutch that day, and I'm actually surprised because that was an absolute war. That was an absolute war that Cody Brundage was in, and he was getting rocked by Julian Marquez, and he almost got put out. So, W for Cody Brundage. Then I did a nice little 2-leg parlay. Cody Brundage, Manel Kape by KO on points. Cody Brundage money line at a -116. $50 on it. 142 for me. Then I just couldn't have enough, guys. Boxing. I took that this fight goes a distance. And I should have sprinkled that at +285. I was like, oh, should I sprinkle it? Should I sprinkle it? I don't know. And I just didn't take advantage of it. But we got what we got. So let's go. Now we're going to break down the entire card for Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev, UFC 313. Let's go. 11 fights on this card. It's going to be an absolute banger card. And we start off with a beautiful fight. This fight reminds me of Ramazan Tamarov versus Charles Johnson. It's an opener. I don't know if it's going to stay the opener, but the most important thing about this fight is that it's going to be an absolute war. And I think that this is going to be another, similar fight to the Charles Johnson and Tamarov fight. We know that there's two completely different styles right here. This is a striker versus a grappler. And that was two strikers. But I will say, whenever I see these guys open up, especially in the flyweight division, it's going to be an absolute banger card. I love the way Ramazan Tamarov performed yesterday, and I should have took a money line. So let's break down this fight. +145 for Rei Tsuruya. Joshua Van -170. We do know that this is going to be a very good fight, and it's on short notice. Rei Tsuruya is a grappler, a hard wrestler, decent hands, and we know his bread and butter is the takedowns, and his shot selection is great. He has beautiful ground and pound, and he transitions really well. He doesn't have to worry about cardio. His most recent bout is a win over Carlos Hernandez at UFC 303. Although he only got 3 out of 8 takedowns, which is a bit of a red flag considering he's going to need to grapple heavy in this fight, because Van's boxing is very crisp. Matched up against Joshua Van, a great volume boxer, and I heard that he's going to be able to use his flag, so he might take out his flag, and that's going to be a lot of hype, especially with the crowd. Matched up against Joshua Van, great volume boxer, great takedown defense, only 23 years old with 14 pro fights. A lot of miles for his age and a lot of fights for his age. Scrambles really well and looked amazing in his last fight against Cody Djorden, but he lost the first round arguably. Then he went on to go and put on the pressure and the power in rounds 2 and 3. I do like that performance against Cody Djorden because a lot of people were heavy on Cody Djorden. They were saying Cody Djorden should be able to win that fight, and he did have success in that first round, but then Joshua Van shows that he can go through adversity, wins the second and third round, and he shows that he can get better takedown defense, and I imagine his takedown defense to be even more better, but we do know he's a little bit chinny. Cody had a lot of success early until he gassed, but the blueprint is there to beat Joshua Van. Rei is undefeated, and we know the undefeated prospects have a 33% win rate in 2025. Joshua Van had a competitive fight against Charles Johnson, who we saw lost to Ramazan Temirov Saturday, which was yesterday for me. I think Van might be a little bit chinny, but he has volume, output, and speed on his side. I think Rei can win a round. Plus 3.5 for Rei Tsuruya is perfect. Joshua Van is the pick, but after he loses the first round, I might do a little live bet. I think he's going to lose the first round. I'm playing this like if this is the Cody Djorden fight. I think this is going to be a very competitive fight, and I think a good live bet is perfect for this fight. We do know that Rei Tsuruya has a 2-inch reach advantage. He's 22 years old. I will say, though, if he can take the back and control Joshua Van, he might be able to stay there. So that's why I think that this fight's a little bit of a, it's a little bit of a gamble. You're rolling a dice here. I'm going to be taking Joshua Van. I'm going to take this fight to go the distance, and I'm going to take the over 2.5. Rei just made his UFC debut, and now he's fighting a prospect. I will say, guys, I'm going to go Joshua Van for the win. I'm going to go by 29-28, unanimous decision after losing the first round. And I'm going to be looking for a live bet, and I'll take the over 2.5. Let's go, my guy. This card is absolutely stacked. I wonder how the bout order is going to look. They're going to move it around and switch it around a lot. Blaydes versus Rizvan Kuniev. An absolute banger scrap. Minus 344 Blaydes. Rizvan Kuniev plus 280. Blaydes is coming off of that loss to Tom Aspinall, who still to this day, John Jones is ducking Aspinall. Blaydes is a vet, a massive favorite too. Kuniev has popped for PEDs before, performance enhancement drugs. Curtis has a great blast double, good single legs, averages 6 takedowns per fight, and just charges forward. We know Blaydes got exposed by Derek Lewis for his shot selection, and we know Lewis saw Curtis's takedown attempt from a mile away, and he caught him with a brutal uppercut. So that's one of Blaydes' red flags. He's chinny, and he has telegraphed takedowns. Blaydes has a lot of wear and tear on his body, and a lot of KO losses. Matched up against Kuniev. Kuniev has beat Renan Ferreira, who we know got destroyed by Francis Ngannou. His hands are good. He has very good pop in his shots, closes distance very well, wild at times, has good control on the cage, holds you on the cage, looks to drag you down, and have success and slow down the fight. Rizvan Kuniev is like rolling a dice. He might perform, he might not perform to his fullest ability. Blaydes' win over Cesar Almeida was great. He showed great elbows and phenomenal takedown defense. I wouldn't be surprised if this fight ends by KO in similar fashion. I'll go Blaydes as a parlay piece, but very low confidence. Blaydes by KO on points. I don't think a submission is likely, and I think this fight could, end in a brutal KO. I think if I'm looking for props, I'm going to say that this fight doesn't go the distance. I'm going to go Blaydes by KO on points, and I'm going to take that this fight ends by KO. I think if there's a possibility of any way that this fight ends by decision, KO, or submission, we know submission is probably likely, but I'm going to go this fight ends by KO. Majority Tapology is favoring that this fight ends by KO. I'm going to go with my guy Blaydes to win this fight by TKO. I'm going to go ground and pound TKO third round, late third round. Let's go, my guy. Let's go, Blaydes. Let's get back in the win column, my guy. I always like to see Blaydes fight, and I'm excited that he's on this card. We know that he got moved. He wasn't normally supposed to be on this card, but he got moved. So I'm glad that he's on this card. Let's go. I just wish he was a little bit higher on the prelims. We'll see if the bout order changes. I expect it to. Mairon Santos versus Francis Marshall. Mairon Santos, minus 360, plus 295 for Francis Marshall. An absolute banger fight right here. I can't ask for anything more for UFC 313. They're absolutely blessing. But there is some massive favorites on this card. Mairon Santos is coming off of that successful UFC debut over Khan Offley. Left hook into ground and pound round 2 TKO. Santos has great volume, good shot selection, good selection in strikes, but tends to be more of a counter striker. Santos. He has good power, great takedown defense, and has great resilience and a good left hook. Francis Marshall is a hard grappler with fast twitch muscle reflexes, always looks to shoot at the right time, strikes until he finds the opening for a shot, very accurate and explosive takedowns. He does have a negative striking differential. Once on the ground, he can transition very well. Francis Marshall, most recent bout, is a win over Dennis Bazooka. Francis's wrestling was put on full display in that Bazooka fight. And we know Dennis Bazooka trains with Aljamain Sterling. Marion Santos is the pick, but he's a massive favorite, and one takedown changes everything. Marion Santos can work, and make Francis tired by forcing him to shoot and keep this fight on the feet. Santos is a better striker. Force him to shoot desperation takedowns for Santos. I'm going to go Santos for the win, and I'm going to go by KO on points. Maybe an over 1.5 might play here. I do know that a lot of people are expecting that this fight goes the distance, so if you see an over 2.5, low confidence, but I might just play it. I'm going to let you guys know. I let all you guys know in the community tab, so win or lose, I let you guys know what I'm going to be playing. I wish I would have told you guys about the boxing, but I just did it last minute. So, I'm going to be taking Mario Santos to win this fight by KO or on points. I think he should be able to win this fight, but we do know Francis Marshall has the wrestling, and he can make this fight a dog fight. In Dennis Bazooka fight, I recommend you go rewatch that fight because it's good for tape study. I'm going Mario Santos for the win. Minus 375. Let's see if we can get a little bit more value. Maybe by KO on points, turn it into a minus 200. Maybe if there's an over 1.5, over 2.5, we get a little bit more value. I'm going to take Mario Santos by decision. I'll go 29-28. Let's go. But we do know he can find that left hook. Let's go, Santos. And we're going to be talking about that left hook in that main event, too. Alex Morono versus Carlos Leal. An absolute banger fight. And I can't ask for more. Alex Morono, I'm glad you're here, bro. I'm glad you're here. With all the fights that you had, you got to be in the Hall of Fame. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but guys like Alex Morono are why we get fights every Saturday or almost every Saturday. Plus 425 for Alex Morono. Carlos Leal minus 600. One of the biggest favorites on this card, Carlos Leal. Matched up against a guy who was once always competitive in every fight. But he is a little bit on the decline. But we're not going to take that into consideration. Obviously, we're going to take it with a grain of salt. Alex Morono has a good jab, good footwork, but he can make questionable decisions at times. He's always in a close scrap and usually survives the full 15 minutes. Good low kicks, decent 1-2. And he's very well-rounded, I'd say. Alex comes in with a great game plan. Most of the time, he can win this scrap. But sometimes he throws all that out the window and he strikes in the pocket. I will say Alex Morono should be able to have a little bit more success than a lot of people imagine him to. We know Carlos Leal is a massive favorite because of his last bout. Alex Morono might be a little chinny. Alex Morono looked terrible against Nico Price. And he lost by split decision to Daniel Rodriguez. He can't adjust as well as he used to in between rounds. And I noticed that with that Nico fight and that Daniel Rodriguez fight. Carlos Leal is a massive favorite because of his most recent fight against Renat Fakhretdinov. Some could say it was a very close fight and he could have went the other way. 27 fights for Carlos Leal. Great striker, great takedown defense, and amazing cardio. Very durable, and he showed how durable he is against Renat. Renat shot over and over, and Leal defended 17 takedown attempts from Renat. Carlos Leal should be able to finish this fight by KO or inside the distance. I will say Carlos Leal has a lot of hype. Let's see if he can fit this price tag. Carlos by KO on points, and maybe an over 2.5 because I do know Alex Morono he went to distance with Buckley. You know, a lot of people were expecting Buckley to finish him inside the distance, but we do know, guys, he does go the distance a lot. I'm going to go over 2.5, but we do know Carlos Leal can find that shot. Alex Morono has been a little bit chinny as of lately. Majority Tapology is favoring this fight to end inside the distance. I'm gonna say I'll take maybe the over 1.5. And of course, guys, I'm going to be taking Carlos Leal by KO or on points. Let me know what you guys think. Let's go, my guy, Carlos Leal. I'll go by 29-28, unanimous decision. Now, this fight is definitely not going the distance. Let's break it down. Plus 150 for Ozzy Diaz versus Djorden Santos. Minus 175. All of Ozzy Diaz's wins and losses are inside the distance. 100% finish rate, whether he wins or loses for Ozzy Diaz. He has never went the full 15 minutes ever in his entire pro MMA career. Ozzy Diaz is a former LFA champion, a slugger, pretty good striker. His grappling isn't the best, but it works for him. He's great in the clinch, but gets hit way too much and has a chin made out of glass. He made his UFC debut at light heavyweight against Ming Yang Zhang, who we know is fighting Anthony Smith now. Matched up against Djorden Santos. Santos is mid. He's not a specialist, but he's very well-rounded. We see a lot of fighters like Santos, a decent Brazilian with good, decent takedown defense and very well-rounded, looking to make a successful UFC debut. Ozzy Diaz, never going the full 15 minutes, could give us a sign that maybe this fight turns into a brawl and ends inside the distance. Santos by KO for me, but he's not a specialist, so if he can't find the finish, he might win a sloppy decision. One thing I like is when you're a specialist, when you're a knockout artist, when you're looking for that knockout and you chase it, like Manel Kape. But we will say this guy is a little bit more well-rounded and he might not chase the finish. So this might be the first time Ozzy Diaz goes the distance. But I will say I'm going to take Djorden by KO or on points. And I'm going to go by round 3 TKO. Let me know what you guys think because this fight's an absolute banger fight. I know Ozzy Diaz is going to be a massive underdog. We do know already Ozzy Diaz is a plus 150. Djorden Santos minus 175. I think there's a lot of value on Djorden Santos. And I took him already with a parlay. I took a little 2-leg parlay that I'll tell you guys in a little bit. So Djorden Santos for the win. Let's go. Let's go Djorden Santos as a parlay piece and just money line. It's perfect. I think you should be able to win that fight by KO on points. Let's go. Bruno Ferreira versus Armen Petrosyan. Plus 115 for Bruno Ferreira. Armen Petrosyan minus 135. With this fight screams war. Armen Petrosyan coming off the wrong end of a Shara Magomedov spinning back fist KO. Bruno Ferreira showed holes in his last fight against Abus Magomedov. We know Bruno Ferreira destroyed RoboCop, and sometimes he can wait for that perfect shot because he's a powerhouse. We have to mention how he got subbed against his last fight in Abus Magomedov. Matched up against Armen Petrosyan. Very good kickboxing background. He hangs out in the pocket a little more than usual. He has a very high volume and surprisingly very good striking defense. He doesn't normally get finished, so that was pretty surprising and pretty impressive from Shara Magomedov. He's very defensively sound. And he has great scrambling skills, but he can get subbed if you take him down. I will say, this fight's going to be an absolute banger. This fight screams maybe fight of the night. I can't trust Brunno, but it seems like this is a winnable fight for him. He should be able to win this fight. He doesn't shoot takedowns a lot, but I'd like him to shoot a nice, good blast double leg. I might be looking for a live bet here. I think money line on either side is perfect. And I think if Bruno Ferreira wrestles, I know he only shot one takedown in the UFC, but if he shoots a nice explosive takedown, he can control the fight, slow the fight down, and win this fight. I like the over 2.5, but I'm going to go Armen Petrosyan, guys. I'm going to go Armen Petrosyan by decision. I might pick flip here. I know majority typology is going Bruno Ferreira. We know the chin aspect, and we know a lot of aspects are favoring Bruno Ferreira. He got submitted in his last fight, so it's not like he's getting chinned. But I will say, guys, I do think Bruno Ferreira should wrestle. But I don't know if I can trust Bruno Ferreira as much as I want to. I might make a pick flip for this on Friday. I'm going to be taking... It's going to be a tough fight. I was thinking about this fight all day. I'm going to go Armen Petrosyan. Very low confidence. My lowest confidence of this entire card. My lowest confidence pick. And I might make an official pick flip on Friday. But as of right now, I'm going to go Armen Petrosyan. Majority typology is favoring Bruno Ferreira to knock him out. We'll see if he does. If you're taking Bruno Ferreira, you can take him by KO inside the distance. I'm going to take Armen Petrosyan by decision. Let's go 29-28 Armen Petrosyan. Let's go. Main card time. This is what the 2-leg is. So the 2-leg is Djorden and Ignacio Bahamondes. Let's go. Let's go. Early inside scoop. Jalin Turner minus 120. Ignacio Bahamondes plus 120. I got him on a minus 113 earlier today. So I think Ignacio Bahamondes might be the favorite by tomorrow. Looking at these odds, it surprises me. I actually jumped on it. Just Ignacio Bahamondes money line. I took it as well. Jalin Turner is a mystery box. He goes to a split decision with Gamrot and Dan Hooker. And he makes this fight 10 times more competitive than they need to be. Overall, has great movement, a good 1-2, great distance and range management. He had a very good streak going before losing to Gamrot. I believe that was on short notice. He subbed Brock Weaver and Uros Medic with a rear naked choke. And he subbed Brad Riddell with a nice mounted guillotine choke. And we know Brad Riddell at one point was very, very highly known. He was one of Volkanovski's boys. So in my opinion, if you're submitting Brad Riddell or even beating Brad Riddell, that's a very good win. Very impressive resume already for Jalin Turner. His most recent bout, though, was against Renato Moicano, where we all know he fumbled the bag. But that's a one-time thing, in my opinion. I do think that this fight's going to be a lot more competitive, and he's not going to do that same mistake. You don't make the same mistake twice. His most recent bout was a little bit sketchy and questionable. We all know what happened against Renato Moicano. Matched up against Ignacio Bahamondes, an absolute striker's delight. A guy who will always fight for your money. and he won't look for a walk-off KO. Very good volume and output, insane kicks, very good defense, and amazing fight IQ. We know Ignacio lost to Ludovic Klein by decision, but his most recent bout, he absolutely destroyed Manuel Torres at UFC Noche. This fight will be a technical battle, looking for the counter, managing range, and I think the over 2.5 can hit. I'm going with the dog already. I put 1 unit on Ignacio Bahamondes at a -113. Get him now while you can. He's probably going to be a slight. It's a pick 'em right now, so get him now while you can if you can. I will say, I'm taking Ignacio Bahamondes to win this fight, but we do know Jalin Turner always makes this fight a brawl. Against Gamrot, he won a round. Arguably, he could have won 2. Against Dan Hooker, he won a round as well. So I definitely think Jalin Turner plus 3.5 is perfect. If you're on Jalin Turner, take the plus 3.5. I think it's perfect to hit, and I think it's very likely to hit. But I'm going to be taking Ignacio Bahamondes money line, and I'm going to take Ignacio by decision. So I'm going to be taking that this fight goes the distance, Ignacio Bahamondes money line, and Ignacio Bahamondes by decision. Nice little sprinkle prop on Friday when it comes out. Or maybe they come out Wednesday. It's a pay-per-view. I think the props are going to come out very soon. In fact, the over 3.5 is already a -113 for the main event for Petrosyan versus Ankalaev. I expected it to be an over 1.5 though for the main event for Petrosyan versus Ankalaev. I think an over 3.5 is a little bit of a stretch. So Ignacio Bahamondes for me for the win money line. I'll take him by decision 29-28. Jalin Turner's tough. Bobby King Green versus Mauricio Ruffy. Fighting nerds. I gotta get my glasses, guys. I gotta get my glasses. I'm gonna put a piece of tape in between here, guys. Fighting nerds. Let's go. Let's go. Bobby King Green plus 425. Mauricio Ruffy -600. The first thing that comes to my mind in this fight is a striker's delight. I think some verbal exchanges might take place in this fight as well. We know King, it's not Bobby Green, it's King Green. Roy Jones Jr. style. Low hands, popping his shots, great volume and output. He can get caught because of his hands low, but his hands low allows him to move his head out the way faster. So, in my opinion, I do like that style for him. He doesn't look to wrestle, and I don't think any one of these guys is going to shoot a takedown unless it's out of desperation. Bobby Green has 11 KOs. Those are normally an accumulation of strikes leading to a TKO. Bobby Green is coming off of that brutal submission loss to Paddy Pimblett, where it was a triangle choke, but an armbar at the same time. I don't know why he shot a takedown. I don't know if it's out of desperation, but it seemed like that takedown wasn't normal from Bobby Green. Bobby Green, we know that was a little bit of a sketchy fight to Paddy Pimblett. Bobby Green might shoot out of desperation, but it's not his bread and butter, and it's not normal to see Bobby Green shoot a takedown. Mauricio Ruffy is a flashy striker with a unique style, 11 wins with 10 stoppages. Ruffy is a great boxer, but my favorite weapon in his arsenal is the scissor sweep that he does. If you guys don't know, look up what the scissor sweep is. It's a beautiful technique, a nice little takedown, unique takedown. It doesn't always work, but the fact that he's throwing it out there shows that it's pretty cool. We know we had a little bit of trouble. We know Mauricio Ruffy had a little bit of trouble, or it was a little bit of a lackluster performance against James Liontop, and we know he wasn't able to finish that fight. This fight might be a little bit similar to that. It might be a little bit more competitive, and it might go the distance. Fighting Nerds has a lot of hype. Let's see for how long. A decision win over Bobby Green might not be the most impressive outcome, but it's very likely. I like Ruffy double chance by KO on points, but we know he's already a massive favorite, and there's probably no value on that. Bobby Green being 38 isn't the best, but I can see Bobby Green, you know, he put out AI Quinta, he put out Grant Dawson. I can see Bobby Green maybe landing a couple of shots. I like the over 1.5 in this fight. Maybe I might take Ruffy by decision, but we know the first time he went to decision, he might not be looking for that. I think he's going to be more eager for a finish. So I think maybe the double chance by KO on points is more safer. We know Ruffy's a -600 already, and Bobby Green is a plus 425. So, all jokes aside, guys, I'm going Mauricio Ruffy, and I'm going to take him by KO on points. I know it's going to be a -300, but I think I'm going to sprinkle Mauricio Ruffy by decision as well. I'll go Ruffy by decision, 29-28. Maybe he gets a nice little late round TKO, second or third round TKO. I cannot wait for this fight. I think Bobby Green might even win a round, plus 3.5 for Bobby Green. Let me know what you guys think. An absolute banger fight. Mauricio Ruffy for the win by decision for me. Let's go. Amanda Lemos versus Iasmin Lucindo. Amanda Lemos is a -126. Iasmin Lucindo plus 106. And I was a little bit surprised when I saw that because I thought Iasmin Lucindo would be a favorite. So I took her already. Amanda has very underrated power. Muay Thai. She has very good Muay Thai as well. Her takedown defense isn't the best, but it works because she doesn't mind being on her back because her BJJ is excellent. She can get subbed sometimes if you can find the opening. We know Jessica Andrade submitted Amanda Lemos, and her most recent bout, she lost by submission where there was 2 seconds left into round 2 in an armbar to Virna Jandiroba. But we know Virna Jandiroba is fighting in a number 1 contender fight. Reminds me of Amanda Ribas tapping to Mackenzie Dern with a couple of seconds left as well. So, there's a little bit of similarities. Matched up against Iasmin Lucindo, a hard wrestler with great speed and great clinch. Drags you down, transitions through guard very well, has great control, and she can manage pace. Her shot selection is always on point. She can maintain decent top control and work. Her most recent bout is a win over Marina Rodriguez, which was a super close fight until she put the pressure and took over. This fight will be a brawl. I think Amanda might get taken down, but she gets right back up and throws subs and volume. Once she's back on the feet, she just throws and throws and throws, and she has hands made out of stone. This fight is going to be an absolute banger fight, and I think Amanda Lemos can have a lot of success. Plus 3.5 for Amanda Lemos for me, over 2.5, and Iasmin Lucindo by submission on points. With this fight right here, I have to mention how Amanda Lemos, she's durable. She's very durable. If you're not going to submit her, you're not going to knock her out. This fight more than likely might go the distance. Her TKO win over Marina Rodriguez was absolutely insane. And we know Iasmin Lucindo made it a little bit of a closer fight with Marina Rodriguez. That was 2 years ago though, but if we're doing a little bit of MMA math, maybe Amanda Lemos could have a lot more success. And we know against Mackenzie Dern, Amanda Lemos literally rocked her all over the place. One of her most notable wins, Mackenzie Dern by decision. I will say losing to Virna Jandiroba was no shame. She's number 1 contender. And losing to Weili Zhang by decision is actually more impressive because the fact that you didn't get finished by Zhang is an absolute beast. So we know that that's pretty impressive as well. I'm going to go Iasmin Lucindo by decision. Seems like majority Tapology agrees with me. But we do know that if there's any finish on either side, it could be Amanda Lemos by brutal KO. She has hands. She has power. And she doesn't look like she's 37 at all. I'm going to go Iasmin Lucindo. She's 23 years old, but she could make a stupid mistake. And before you know it, Amanda Lemos is winning this fight by decision, and the clock goes by. Iasmin Lucindo is going to be the pick by unanimous decision, 29-28. I'm going to go by submission on points as well, because I think she could have a lot of more success, and we could get a little bit more value on that fight. Let's go, Iasmin Lucindo. Let's go. Co-main event. Let's fucking go. Co-main event. It's about time. I can't ask for a better co-main event. Although I know we all wish Dan Hooker was here and it was 5 rounds. Plus 110 for Gaethje, Rafael Fiziev, minus 130. The rematch. Dan Hooker broke his hand and he lets everyone know he's out of the fight. Rafael Fiziev steps in for the rematch. And the last time these two fought was in 2023 at UFC 286, Edwards versus Usman 3. We know this may not be the most exciting fight, or it might not be as much fireworks as the 5-round war with Hooker. We can only imagine. But this fight is way better than a Moicano or Armen Tsarukyan matchup. We know Armen said yes, but he wanted to fight at catch weight. So he wasn't able to make that weight, and he's a little bit heavier outside of camp. The last time these two fought, it was very close. And it was a war, keeping you on the edge of your seat. Made me fall in love with the sport. Every single time Gaethje fights, it's an absolute banger. And I hope he doesn't ever come close to retiring this year. Gaethje has a college-level wrestling background. And he has used some takedowns in their last fight, especially in their first bout. I would imagine he should mix it up again, instead of looking to stay in the pocket a little bit more often than usual. Gaethje is hit with 8 significant strikes per minute and lands almost 7. So, he has a negative striking differential, but that's his style. He loves to go to war, he has very good leg kicks, and a patient Gaethje is always a dangerous Gaethje. We know he's coming off of that brutal 5th round TKO to Max Holloway, where there was 1 second left. But I do think he took a perfect amount of time, around 11 months. Now he's matched up against Rafael Fiziev, a technical striker with great Muay Thai, very good volume, very good accuracy. And his leg kicks and his body kicks have amazing speed. 89% takedown defense for Rafael Fiziev. His most recent bout was a loss to Gamera, where he blew his knee out, and he has been out for around 2 years since, but he had surgery, multiple surgeries, and he's now ready. Justin just got KO'd cold, and he took a good amount of time, 11 months. Fiziev, long layoff, makes this fight harder to predict. Justin had decent success against Max Holloway even after he broke his nose. He fought all the way through the 5th round, all the way until the last second, without being able to breathe through his nose, which is a very important aspect. I think the cardio favors Gaethje, but this being 3 rounds could favor Fiziev. He could explode a little bit more. We know Trevor Whitman is a great coach with great game planning. I'm going to go Fiziev for the win. Fiziev by KO on points. I think 3 rounds favors Fiziev. We've seen Justin come back after getting TKO'd, so it's not impossible for Justin to win. I think timing and Fiziev being willing to make the weight shows that he's ready for this fight. If it was 5 rounds, I'd go Justin. But Fiziev is taking this fight because he wants to, not because he needs to. I think this fight goes full 15 minutes. I think the over 2.5 should be good. And I think Fiziev by KO on points, maybe even Fiziev by decision. But I really want to pick Justin Gaethje, so this is a little bit of a low confidence pick. I think I'm going to go Rafael Fiziev for the win. I'm going to go by 29-28 unanimous decision. When we look at both of their records, 12-3 compared to 25-5. On paper, Gaethje should be able to win this fight all day. But if you watch the first fight, there was times where Rafael Fiziev had Gaethje hurt. He's throwing, these guys are throwing in the pocket. You know, Fiziev is bleeding. His eye, I believe it was his entire face that was bloody. But Gaethje definitely won the 3rd round, and he won the 1st round. But if you look at the 2nd round, there was a lot of success from Fiziev. And if he could start that way off in the 1st round, I think he should be able to win this fight. I will say, though, it's going to be an absolute banger fight, an absolute banger scrap. Justin Gaethje was able to take down Fiziev in the 3rd round. But I will say, I think Fiziev is more prepared. We know against Gamera, he should have been training. I think with all this time off, I think it's about time Fiziev should be able to win this fight. I'm going to go Fiziev for the win. I'm going to go by KO on points, and I'm going to go by unanimous decision for my guy Fiziev. I think the body kick should be there. And I think he should be able to win 2 rounds out of the 3. This being 15 minutes, and him having to make the cut at 155, short notice. We know Trevor Whitman always has a great game plan, so we'll see what Trevor Whitman has in store for us. But I'm going to go Rafael Fiziev for the win. I think he should be able to win this fight. Let's go by KO on points just to be safe. And I'll go by decision. Nice little sprinkle. I do think that fight goes the distance, though. So I'm willing to see what the over 2.5 would be. Main event time. Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. An absolute banger fight. I couldn't ask for an absolute banger main event. We know this is a long-awaited bout. Not only is this a long-awaited bout, but with this bout right here, we do know that there was a time where maybe Magomed Ankalaev deserved the title shot a little bit sooner. You know, we know he had that no contest against Johnny Walker. Well, he went to draw with Jan Blachowicz, the first time he fights for the belt 2 years ago. Then, an accidental illegal knee, no contest. Then he finishes Johnny Walker, and then he has to fight Alexander Rakic for a #1 contender fight. And we know Alex Pereira has been making 4 title defenses ever since, and is looking to make his 5th title defense. If you look at majority topology, they're favoring that this fight doesn't go the distance. So, I will say, one of my best props for this fight is an over 1.5. I need to see what that over 1.5 is. I think it's probably like -400. In fact, I'll check right now. But with this fight right here, we know Magomed Ankalaev is a slight underdog. I'm going to be checking the over 4.5 for this fight right here. So the odds aren't out yet. They're not out yet. But we do know that this is going to be a close fight. -124, Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev, +100. The long-awaited main event. Shama. Alex Pereira defending his belt for the 5th time in a year. In 12 months, basically. But we know those guys are all not wrestlers, and they're all willing to strike in the pocket. Poatan turns strikers into wrestlers. Great left hook, heavy low kicks, which we know will be a massive factor in this fight. Ankalaev got his legs chopped up the first time he fought for a belt. And he went to a draw with Jan Blachowicz. Those fast low kicks will be there for Alex all day. But it might be an opening for takedowns if Ankalaev can catch that kick. I will recommend, I don't think Alex Poatan Pereira should be throwing body kicks. I don't think he should throw kicks to the body. But if he does, he does. I'm not the game planner. Matched up against Magomed Ankalaev. A decent striker looking for counter with great wrestling and a very good top control. Once he takes the back, he's very good at backpacking. Ankalaev averages over 1 takedown per 15 minutes, which is a massive red flag, but he sticks to you like glue. Many Ankalaev fans believe that this fight was long awaited and was supposed to be scheduled almost a year ago. Ankalaev will have to wrestle. He may not be forced to strike. He may be forced to strike at times, but he will shoot. He has to shoot. If he doesn't decide to shoot a takedown at all in this fight, he's going to be in for a very rude awakening. Ankalaev claims he doesn't need takedowns, but we all know they will be very necessary, and he will definitely need takedowns. Sorry guys, my nose was a little bit runny. We know that he will definitely need takedowns, and they will be necessary, very necessary. His one loss on his record is a triangle choke loss to Paul Craig with 1 second left in round 3. I know a lot of people are saying, Alex Pereira has BJJ. You guys haven't seen his BJJ. Just wait until he's on his back. Wait till you see his BJJ. Maybe he could throw up a nice little triangle. But I will say, I don't think Ankalaev is going to fall for it. Everyone who has tried to take Poatan down has had some success. Poatan got taken down in his UFC debut against Andreas Michailidis. He got taken down by Bruno Silva. He got taken down by Israel Adesanya, and he controlled him for an entire round. And Yuri Prochazka was able to take him down as well. And Jan Blachowicz had the most success with the wrestling department out of everybody who decided to wrestle against Poatan in the UFC. Ankalaev isn't the most entertaining fighter, and this fight might look a little lackluster. But I feel like this fight will be fireworks no matter what and no matter who wins. We know that this is one of Poatan's hardest tests. If he can get the 5th title defense, he might go up to heavyweight. Pick your poison type fight. Poatan by KO or on points, or Magomed Ankalaev by submission or points. I will say, Magomed is going to be the pick for me, but we would all love to see a crazy left hook TKO. Even a KO. He might just flatline Magomed Ankalaev. We know Poatan has the touch of death. All he needs is one. He can lose all 4 rounds and come back the 5th round and just win. He has that touch of death. But I'm going to be going with the more well-rounded fighter. Magomed Ankalaev, 48-47 unanimous decision. I think Magomed Ankalaev should win 3 rounds out of 2. I think he should win 3 rounds out of 5. But I do think no matter who wins this fight, I know it's going to be a little bit crazy. But I do think it's going to be a very close match. I think this fight touches the 3rd round. I know this is going to be a little crazy. I know Poatan doesn't normally go to the 3rd round. I know a lot of people are expecting Poatan by KO. If you're taking Poatan, take him by KO. It's like a plus 165. It's going to shrink and shrink and shrink. Before you know it, it might be a minus 150 fight night. So, I recommend you have a slip of Poatan by KO or on points, just in case he wins by decision. Take him now, because he might turn into a massive favorite. So, I recommend you make a nice little slip with Alex Pereira. But I'm going to be taking Magomed Ankalaev. I already took him in a nice little parlay. And I took him money line. This is going to be a close fight. I'm excited to see what the odds look the day before the fight, or even a couple of minutes right before the fight starts. I'm going to go Magomed Ankalaev by 48-47 unanimous decision. Let me know what you guys think. Poatan by left hook KO. Shama. If it happens, it happens. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I cannot wait for UFC 313, guys. We are in for a very good pay-per-view. It's about time. UFC 311, Moicano gets submitted in the 1st round. UFC 312, Dricus du Plessis wins every single round against Sean Strickland. It's about time we get a very good competitive matchup in this fight. Although, if Alex Poatan Pereira KOs him in the 1st round, it's still going to be very entertaining. This pay-per-view is very good. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys make some bets early, because a lot of these odds are going to fluctuate throughout the week. So jump on what you can now, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. The best is best, baby. The best is blessed. Let's get it. Sorry if I stuttered a little bit. Let's go. I'm working on the pronunciation, and I'm working on content on the way. 6 best bets in lock of the week on Wednesday. Let's go. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it. Peace. Hey.